Hi everybody, this summary video is for Friday, August 25th. So our objectives today is that we learned the parts of the neuron and we applied what we learned during a hands-on activity. That actually, we just didn't get to the hands-on activity, so we're going to postpone that and do that lab on Monday. So we're just focusing on the notes right now. So students took notes on the parts of the neuron. And for homework, I want you to study your vocabulary flashcards for 5 to 10 minutes every day. So that means you're going to study Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 to 10 minutes. Just get your brain in the pattern of reviewing those words, and I promise you it'll be a much more efficient way for you to study, okay? All right, so inside today's folder, you're going to see there's a 2-minute video of the neuron. This is a perfect introduction. It's just a really quick overview of the different parts of the neuron and their functions. You're going to notice that when he talks in the video, the parts of the brain and their functions match your definitions. And so in class, we talked a lot. I had the kids, I had a hard copy or I had a digital copy. This is the notes that they're going to use or that you're using. So I've got a key here. I want you to color code your parts of the neuron here. Just as a reminder, the dendrites are here. They're the branch-like substance. That are the branch-like structures that receive the input. Then you've got the soma, that's the cell body here. And then, of course, the nucleus is green, it's in the middle. The axon is purple, it runs all the way through this long kind of tail-looking part. And then the myelin sheath, that's these bead-looking things on top of the axon. They serve as insulators. That's the one thing that you don't know about. We don't have that on our vocabulary. So the myelin sheaths are made of protein and fat, and they act as insulators for the axon so that the impulses, they actually travel through your neurons as either electric impulses or chemical impulses. And later on, the chemical impulse is most often translated or transferred into an electrical impulse. But I talked in class about an analogy. So if you're a kinesthetic learner or a visual learner, even an oral learner, this is good for you to listen to. So the myelin sheath and the axon is very much like a cord for an electrical appliance. So imagine I've got a cord for my fan and I plug that in. What is actually transmitting the electrons? It's the wires, right? That's what allow the electrons to move. What is keeping the electrons from escaping out into the room or onto my hand if I go to plug in that cord? It's the insulator, it's the plastic casing on top of the cords. And so the same thing is kind of holding true to the axon and to the myelin sheath. The axon is similar to the wires in that the electric impulses travel through the axon. And the myelin sheath acts as an insulator so that those electrons or that electric impulse doesn't pass outside of the axon. It just streamlines through it. It makes it much, much, much more efficient. And then we kind of talked a little bit in class about how, unfortunately, somebody with something like Alzheimer's, neurologists are beginning to understand that part of the problem may be that the myelin sheath is actually deteriorating. And so when that electric impulse goes through, let's say for somebody's name or their face recognition, different events that happened in the past, and it requires them to use their memory. And then ultimately just a complete breakdown of the brain's ability to run the body and all the body systems, the ability to walk, the ability to talk, the ability to swallow, or to maintain bodily functions. It deteriorates because of these holes or a breakdown in the myelin sheath, and those electrical impulses are not getting from point A to point B like they're supposed to. And then lastly, the axon terminals. The axon terminals are here on the very end on the right. They look similar to dendrites. They are not dendrites. They're axon terminals, and those are going to be colored yellow. Then you're going to go through your notes and using your definitions from your vocabulary, go ahead and write that in. Like I said, the one thing that you won't have is a definition for the myelin sheath. So you are going to write insulates the axon to allow the electric impulse to travel through. And then go ahead and write for the axon terminal. We got through a little bit of the notes here in first period, but not all of them. This is kind of where we left off. So I'm going to stop here, and I'll get you caught up with the rest of the class when you come back on Monday. All right? I'll talk to you later. Bye.